Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, in this episode I show you how to optimize your portfolio to get more jobs. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs, my name is Serge Ramelli. I am a French photographer living in Paris, France, and I make 2 tutorials per week. Click here if you want to get over 200 raw files, presets, action for free. All you have in exchange is also my newsletters about all the free stuff and paid stuff that I do. And click here if you want to get my YouTube channel. In last episode, I showed you how to take photos in the middle of the night. This is the final result. This week, it's not a tutorial about Lightroom or Photoshop, it's more a business tutorial about how to optimize your portfolio so that it is what I would call self-edited and it's the best to get more chance to get work from the internet. So here we go. Bonjour mesdames et messieurs. So I just wanted to do a quick tutorial about editing your own portfolio. What does this mean? That means that I get a lot of emails from people daily, sending me their portfolio on the web. And one common mistake that I find a lot is that people will use, Squarespace, 500px, blog, WordPress, whatever, to make their portfolio. The only problem is that they would put in their portfolio like a bit everything. Like some photos are really nice, some photos are not very as nice, not as professional. And if you want I'm going to tell you something that has been successful for me to get hired on the web as a photographer. I've worked for Nike, I've worked for National Geographic, I've got very, very big book deals all through the web. And one thing that really worked for me is having 2 portfolio websites. The first one is, for example, this one called sergermanyphotos.com, and it has different sections like Paris, landscape travel, Venice, portrait, interior, blah blah blah. What it is basically the best of my work. It's nothing else than that. Full screen. And the whole idea of that website is to give the impression that I am a professional photographer, that my work is consistent and is of good quality. And it's through this website that people has been hiring me. SergeRamelliPhotos.com, that's the one that's connected to Fotosearch.com, which is my main boutique. And this is the rule that I've been applying for myself. Basically, for all of this section, Paris, landscape, Venice, portrait, interior, which is my passion. This is what I do. I'm passionate about landscape, I'm passionate about Paris. I went to Venice and did some pretty cool photos there. And what I try to do is to only put about 10 to 15 photos per category. I don't put 100, I don't put 25, because what I find happening with agencies that if you have a portfolio and let me show you some of my photos there. This one has a bit more than 10. It's my landscape travel, but I try to only put very professional photo on it. That's the photo, for example, I sold to Nike. I'll show you another one, which I sold to National Geographic, which is cool. It's the dream for photographers. This one I sold to National Geographic, and it all came from this website. And I'm using Squarespace. If you want to make a website like this, you can just click on this link called Want the Same Portfolio, and I'll give you a little video. It's about how, it's pretty fast, explaining you how you can make a website in a few minutes. It's very straightforward. However, the key thing is this. For example, I know my friend Scott Kelby has this rule also, which is that when he wants to add a photo on his portfolio, what he does, because he's trying to get the best work out there, he takes one out. So for example, I have now in Paris, I have about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 20 photos, okay? Now in all, I've got much more photos. I've got maybe 300 photos of Paris. And if I take a photo of Paris tomorrow that I really like, well, I'm gonna put it up there, but I'm gonna take one out. So the whole idea is as time goes on and as better as you get as a photographer, you take the photos down and you only keep for that section, so it can be, travel, it could be your city, whatever topic is there. Try to have only 20 per category. That's my portraits, So, and this one I think I have a lot less because I have a lot less portrait and I need to update it. But I'm gonna go up to 20 on portraits, and then I'm not gonna move. Like I'm just gonna take down ones that I don't like until I just keep the best of the portrait. But portrait has never been my big strength. I'm more landscape type guy. However, one problem, so the key lesson, the one message and the biggest mistake I see is that people, basically, they have like 100 photos up on a subject, and on 100 there's like 20 which are really great. There's another 20 which are okay. There's another 20 which is like not so good. There's 5 which are really not nice. You know what I mean? And it just gives the impression that you are just, an amateur about photography. If you want to get work, you need to have a professional website with only the best of your work. And if you don't have enough good photos to make 20 in each category, well, you just have to go out there. But it's very important to have this sort of professional website. So that was my first advice, and I use Squarespace to do that. And I advise you to do the same thing. You can even get a discount if you go through me to get, if you use the code Fotosearch, you get 10% discount on Squarespace. I really recommend. The other thing that I recommend is that, for example, when I got contacted to make the books on Paris and New York from a big editor, they wanted to see all my work on Paris. And, they say, you only have 20 photos on Paris on your website. Where can we see more? So then I created another website called Fotosearchnet, which is basically using 500px technology. And on this website, if you go to Paris, there is not 20, but there is all my photos of Paris that I really like, all of them. Like the best of my work, so about 100 photos. And so when somebody wants to make a book or an article about Paris, this is the link that I send them. I said, well, okay, you found my best portfolio, but here is here is the other work that you can find, which is interior design. This is a much more complete portfolio, but it's not the one that I put on my business card. It's not the one that I put as my main site. It's more like for people wanting to know more about me. And the reason is that I use a lot 500px. 500px as a community to see how much a photo, how much people really like their photos. I'll give you an example. I just came back from Mexico, and I loaded these 2 photos actually this morning, Los Angeles time. So, and the great thing about 500px is that it's a daily challenge. You see, the whole idea is to go to 99.9, which is basically you're on the home page. So I loaded this photo a few hours ago. This one is 96.8. And so it's good. It's already popular. It's gonna, probably end up in the, first 2-3 pages of 500px by tonight, hopefully. And this other one is even higher up, 96.6, the one I did my tutorial on. And my trick is that every time I take a good photo, 2 by 2, I load them on 500px. Okay, because I use 500px also as a way of promoting my work, because usually I get about 4,000 or 5,000 views per photos, and there is a link to my YouTube channel and people can find out more about me. So I use it as a promotional thing. But then if you pay them, I believe it's $50 per month, per year, sorry. So it's very cheap. You can make a website with them. So which is what I did. So you can go to manage photos, and you can see here all the photos that I have. So it's really like everything that I do. And for example, here now, I'm going to create a new portfolio, which I'm going to call Mexico. So I'm just going to click here on new, and I'm going to call this Mexico, because I just came back from Mexico and I have about 20 nice fine art print that I got from there. So I'm going to go to all photos, and I'm going to select this one and this one, and I'm going to drag and drop them into Mexico. Okay, it's just as easy as that. And now if I go to Fotosearchnet and I update it by pressing Command R on my Chrome, sometimes it takes a little bit of time. Yes, here it is. You have Mexico, and there is the 2 first photos there. I'm going to add another, but you see what I do is I only had 2 photos by 2 photos by 2 photos by 2 photos, because I remember I was talking to Scott Kelby about that. When he created his 500px account, he added all these photos at the same time, like 50 photos or 100 photos. The problem that if you do that, because the challenge is based on a 24 hours period, when you do that, all your photos are going to compete against each other, which is cool. But if you want to get exposure, you better load like 2-3 photos by 2-3 every day. But you can use 500px as your best work, as a more complete portfolio. But don't use it as your brand, because so the reason I choose 500px for that is because they have a big community and I get a lot of traffic from 500px, which I don't get from Squarespace. Squarespace is purely, just my brand, my image, my portfolio. That's it, which is the one that's connected on my main website. So yeah, also another trick which is very important is that if you go to 500px and there is a way that you can buy a domain name. You can buy a domain name and make it so that your website is like whatever you want, like me is Fotosearchnet, but whatever your name is. The thing is, with Squarespace it's very easy to do that. With 500px it takes a bit more work. You can go to this link. When you go on your setting accounts, you've got this domain and it's going to tell you how to do it. The only problem is that you have to change the A record, but they have a video that shows you how to do it. It takes really 2 minutes. You first have to buy the domain name by, I recommend one of this provider. I want my name GoDaddy or Namecheap. You can just click on this link. This link you will find when you click on your own portfolio domain setting in 500px, because it's better. Otherwise, your 500px. Like my profile is going to be like 500px.com/Ramelli-search. Otherwise, this is how it's going to be. I don't want that. What I want it to be is Fotosearch.net. Yeah, then they're a really cool website because they work on iPhone and iPads, and you've got different you got different templates you can use. If you go to settings, portfolio, okay, edit your portfolio, and they have different type of settings you can use. They have many templates you can use. And I'm not going to make, I did already a video on 500px, which you can probably find here on this link. And anyways, so if I wanted to change the look of my website, I can go to find more theme, and then I can just, use another type of theme. But anyway, so you can get a pretty professional website with 500px, plus you get, the exposure of the community, which I find is really cool. But I would really do that as a second website. I would do Squarespace as a first website, just to have like a brand, so you only have the best of your best work. Voila, that was my tip of the day. I just had this idea of making this tutorial because I get so many emails every day of people which have like, great photography, but they didn't brand it or market it properly. And I hope that's going to help. I mean, of course, this is not for amateurs. This is for people that want to make a living as a photographer. But I get a lot of emails of people that want to make a living as a photographer. So I hope this helps, mesdames et messieurs. Okay, back to me. All right, mesdames et messieurs, I hope you like this tutorial. If you have any ideas or suggestions of tutorials you would like me to do, please leave me a comment under this video, and I will do my best to fulfill your wishes. Mesdames et messieurs, I just have one thing to say. Au revoir.